Alright, we're going to be running test ID number 1, the motor control. We have to test that all the motors work accurately together. And once I start running the robot at different speed values, you can see that all the motors move together in conjunction, allowing the robot to effectively move around the field, which is what my client expected. And it even exceeded expectations as I gave it omnidirectional movement, which they believe I could do, but I also made it able to move diagonally. And then we're doing test ID number 2, which is a servo position accuracy, where we tested the servos intake when it spins in, and it would update on the UI. And when it spun out, it also updated it, spitting stuff out with minimal delay overall. Then we had the third test ID, which is multi-threaded responsing, where we ran the code extensively to see if there would be any lag if we try to run multiple motors at the same time. And the multi-threading proved to be successful, as all the motors were able to move at the same time with minimal to no lag. Not noticeable at all, actually. The test ID telemetry logging. For this test, basically what we did is that we had the robot run across the field and in different movements. And we would press the triggers at different speeds and values so that we would be able to tell if it was reading the scores accurately. The only problem we seen during this, my client said that it would take a second or two maybe to update, which proved to be slightly outside of his range, as he preferred faster movement speeds for the update. And then we had the test 7, which is the real-time position tracking, where it would track where the robot was. And we did this using telemetry also, where we would count the position of the robot using the ticks of the motors, and this would allow for the code to know where the robot is at all time because it's counting itself. And then after this is where we had our test ID number 8, the user interface, where we had the motor position and powers, and we also had the velocity so that we could calculate the drag, and we had the servos so that we can see the servo positions and power, allowing us to detect when there's something inside of the servo, so it would automatically stop. And we did our test ID number 9, which is the path. We basically ran our autonomous where the robot would move by itself. Of course, due to a lack of infrastructure, we had to run it without the preset items. But when we did set it up and run it, what we noticed is that while it would do the code correctly, the code was, inconsistent, as you can notice that the robot slows down or makes slightly micro adjustments so that it could push the blocks that would be on the lines. And then we did test number 10, the latency test, to see how much delay there was between inputs. And as you can see, when I press it, there's minimal delay. There's close to zero delay, and it's not noticeable at all. This proves to be the client absolutely loved this, as they were like, yes, we can drive quickly with this. And during autonomous, it also proved that there would be minimal delay between the different sections of the code. While evaluating my success criteria, the main issue I seem to face were constraints on either time, resources, and software. What I believe was possible originally proved not to be possible for the power optimization. While I was able to delay motors and stop them so they wouldn't continuously run and waste battery, it wasn't what my client wanted, therefore I did not count it as me completing that success criteria. The task scheduling, on the other hand, was a complete shambles, as I wasn't able to get it to work properly. It would complete everything in order, but it wouldn't be able to sort through them. The trajectory and the path planning, that while it seemed to be successful, it wasn't accurate at all and would often mess up and slip up, as during the video you could clearly see that it would have to moved back to autocorrect itself. And the accuracy of AI integration, while we were able to integrate AI into the code, we didn't quite have the needed time to get it to properly work. But otherwise, we did seem to do pretty well with the success criterias, proving to be very effective.